Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I'm just checking something. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Once again, yes, I see Sister Ines. Very warm welcome on behalf of Manhattan Meditation Center and Peace Village Retreat and Learning Center. My name is Anita, and I thank all of you on behalf of both the organization for making the time to be with us this evening. We'll appreciate if you can switch on your videos and we can see your lovely faces. It's always good to see faces rather than boxes. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. There's some more. Okay, if it's possible, I know some of you might be traveling, you're in transit, and that's okay. But we appreciate no matter what, that you're making the time to be with us. So before we start today's topic, just a very quick thing that, we are offering a 7-day meditation course in the month of November. It's starting on November 7th, and the timings are in the evening from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Registration links are available on Manhattan Center's website. If you have registered, it's wonderful. Otherwise, please go and register. Maybe you can encourage your friends and family if anyone is interested in learning about meditation. Besides this, we also offer live meditation 1 time a day from Monday to Friday, and we call it Power Boost meditation, right? In the middle of the day, we do need a boost, a little boost of power, right? So we call it Power Boost meditation. If you are taking the benefit from it, excellent. Otherwise, we encourage you to try it. Recordings of this talk and the previous Thursday talks are available on our YouTube channel. I'll share the link of that in a little while in chat. And, if you haven't already bookmarked that, please, it's a good idea to bookmark the YouTube channel link so you can revise or review any of the talks what we presented earlier. So today's topic, the message of sickness. We are trying to cover the topics about the health this month, and this is the last one in that series. I know we advertised that Sister Rona Schweiss will be giving the talk, but there is a change, and Sister Ines with us today to share her thoughts on the message of sickness. Sister Ines, your mic is muted. So in the meantime, one very quick suggestion, your mics, you have a control of your mic. Please keep them closed unless you have a question, or the floor is open to ask questions. You can also put your questions in a chat. So welcome, Sister Ines. Good evening. And we are ready to take notes on the topic, message of sickness.
Thank you, Sister Anita. Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. Hello. those on Zoom, and we also have some here in person, which is wonderful and a great support also. And Om Shanti. So we're changing, or in the process of changing a little bit the setup at the center. So if you see me look down, it's because currently I have you on the laptop, but the camera is in front of me. So I'll do my best to look directly at you. So welcome to another insight session, Wisdom in Action, and it's all about health this month, right? So what is our relationship with our body? What is our relationship with illness, sickness, or pain in the body? Yes? Feel free to share. What is our relationship with a pain, when all of a sudden, gradually, pain emerges in the body? You get diagnosed with this illness, you get COVID, or you have the flu or something or other. What's your immediate reaction? What's your immediate thought when you have to face that?
Fear.
Fear. Very practical, definitely happens many times. What else?
Concern.
Concern, definitely very soon concerns will arise. Worries, what will happen? How will it go? Will someone look after me? Will this medication work? What will happen to me? Yeah, all sorts of thoughts start to emerge. Will they find out what it exactly is? Will it work? What else?
Identification becomes much stronger. This is me, it is happening to me.
Yeah.
And all the teachings go out the door.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we're having a reaction, right? And we will talk about that. Yeah. So for the majority of us, we don't necessarily embrace physical illness, any form of illness or pain, right? It's something we don't like, we don't want to deal with. Is not something that definitely we don't ask for it. Overall, we have quite a negative attitude towards it. Some are better than others in addressing it when it shows up, dealing with it, go to the doctor, take the appropriate measurements. But especially when it's just pain, we often tend to just push it aside, ignore it, just keep going on, keep running, keep doing. Or it is also the opposite is also possible, that we, it's a little bit of pain in the body and we make it very big. Can't move, I can't do that, I can't do this because a little bit of pain, right? So either way, in average, our reaction towards or attitude, let's put it with attitude, is a little bit out of proportion when it comes to these things. Now, if you think it further, if my attitude towards unhappy, unhealthy body, there's something not working properly in the body, and it comes and gives me that message that, wait a moment, pay attention. Something is not going right here, right? So instead of having a positive attitude, we actually having a negative attitude. Something has come in our way. It blocks me from doing certain things, from experiencing life in a certain way, the way I expect it. And so we kind of even, punish the self for the fact that I'm feeling something. So if I have such an attitude, I'm feeling that I do not want to deal with something, that I don't want to I don't even want to know about it. And then, I just do whatever is needed in order to help it get better. How the medication will work, how the healing of the body can advance and progress. So I think over a long period of time, we have developed certain expectations towards life, towards the self, how I want to live life, what do I want to experience, and we expect everything and everyone to work for us the way we want it. We consume, we use it, we consume it. When we have enough, we put it aside. Objects we throw out, even sometimes with people, we just drop them. It's a little bit an overall attitude in life that now I'm aware it's a little bit of a generalization that I'm making here. Not everyone really thinks or feels in that way, or not to the same intensity, but overall it has become a way of living, and we consume, we consume, and after we have consumed, we throw things out. And when it comes to then physical health, well-being, how do we create well-being? How do we create or support or nurture a healthy body, a healthy mind, a happy heart? When we only live on expectations, I think just thinking about it, even for myself, speaking about it, it does become very obvious that it is not very much of a support for a natural healing process to occur, right? For things to come into place, back into order, and to actually serve me. If I treat, again, it's a generalization, everything and everyone with, a don't care attitude, the body will serve us. Someone will care for me. On the other hand, we expect everything to work and everyone to be there for us. And, another question that we can ask ourselves is, what is more normal to me, to us? A healthy body, a healthy mind, life where I experience happiness, where there is peace, there is happiness in relationships. Is this something more normal, or when things are going off, when there are problems, when there are issues in life? Your immediate reaction. What is more normal? Whatever is normal, but would we expect everything to go well, or would we expect everything to go wrong in whatever context? Yes, easy question. Yes, but if we can use the microphone so that everyone can hear you. Thank you, Emily.
To your point, it's uncomfortable to be
Close.
it's uncomfortable to be sick, right? But at the same time, I think there's a sense that you come to, you acknowledge, okay, I didn't ask for it, I didn't want this, but it
Keep
is what
close.
it is what it is, right?
Right.
So I think you move from trying to understand the source of the pain to giving it time to heal, and obviously seeking medical advice and trusting the process that you will heal and you will be back on the feet. And then that whether it's family, work, that they will understand that right now you need time to heal,
Right.
and attend to that, than be burdened by all the other responsibilities, right?
Right. So this is a much more genuine approach, right? We acknowledge it, something is going on, there's a certain need now, I need to take care, and also getting some kind of support from the surrounding. But I would like to take us actually a little bit deeper today from a more spiritual perspective. Now, that simple thought that I have put out before, overall in life, what is more normal to us? Do we is it more normal to that things are working in life, that the body is healthy, that I am happy, that I am peaceful? Right. Simply, yes. This is a kind of reference point. So if you think that, or if we think that for the body to be healthy, and I feel good being in this body, is the most natural thing. That means if something is not working, if a pain shows up, if there's an illness, part of the body becomes sick. Now, what does this tell me? Something is not right. Yes. So something is not right. That means something has happened, something that I am doing is causing a problem in the body. So if I look at it with this attitude of care, of wanting to find out and wanting to help, because it's a message that something is not right? But that I can experience only when I care, and I can only care when I value. And if I value, then I also respect. And so if I respect the body, if I value a healthy body, then pain or an emerging illness in the body will definitely be of a concern, but in the sense, wait a moment, something is not right? So it's not necessarily that I will be worried or anxious, fearful, devastated when I'm getting this message. Yes, a little bit, maybe a little bit shocking if it's a diagnosis of a stronger illness, but there's that concern, what is going wrong? And, for us who look a little bit more deeply into matter, those who have interest to look at life in a more holistic way, there's a connection, right? Between what I am doing, what I have been doing, and what is happening to my body. And so then I will start to have interest to find out, to explore, to go deeper within, to identify, to identify or pinpoint more closely what is it that I am doing, what attitudes am I holding, what are my feelings and thoughts in relation to certain aspects in life. Physically, I will take care in the sense I will go to the doctor, I will follow the directions the doctor gives. We appreciate that medicine is available and all the modern technology, but at the same time, there's also a responsibility on my side. And the responsibility is, on the one hand, I take physically care, I listen to the doctor, but then in addition to even enhance the positive impact of the medication or the treatment, is for me to listen more deeply, what is the message that I'm getting from the body, from the pain, what is going on at the more deeper level. And there's this one principle in life or law in life, that everything comes from inside out. And the outside is a reflection, the consequences of what is going on within. So our most precious currency is actually thought power. The ability to think, to create thoughts. Because that is the beginning of everything, how I think. And then if I think about certain person or something in a certain way or a period of time in a certain way, I'm left with a feeling that then eventually turns into an attitude. And whatever my attitude is, that's how I will see the world. And accordingly, the actions that I perform. And so also with the physical body, when there are symptoms, when there are clinical symptoms, that's what the doctor can diagnose, that's what the doctor can detect, that's what I see and feel in a way. But so much more has happened already before these symptoms emerged. And when the symptoms show up, we are only interested in fixing, treating the symptoms. Then, even when we are interested to look deeper where it is coming from, but do I go as deep as looking at my more subtle energies, the energy of thought, energy of attitude, for example. And maybe but, or because the energy that I create at a subtle level is very, very impactful, whether it's negative or positive. And so there is that whole concept that physical illness is directly connected with how I work internally, the attitudes I'm holding, the emotions that come from certain hurts that we have accumulated. Do I actually give attention to that? Do I have interest to deal with it, to resolve it? If if those emotions are not addressed over a long period of time and they just suppressed, they will create havoc in the body. One aspect is that we have emotions within accumulated from the past, from the hurts that I have taken, and then kind of wounds that I'm carrying with me. But then on a daily basis, how much do I take care of my more subtle well-being? And so the way we live, what we value, what we care for, definitely we want to care and we want to help. And many of us are very good in helping others, but not so much in helping the self. And so for a healthy body to experience good health, there has to be mental health, there has to be physical health, there has to be emotional health. And so any physical illness, physical pain is a signal. It's like a red flashing light. You know, someone standing right in front of me and telling, danger, be careful what you're doing. And so to look at illness with a little bit of a different perspective, so that we develop and able to actually create a very positive attitude to what is going on, and to whatever extent it limits me in my life for that period of time. The more positive I am, the more I am able to accept what is, the more I will be able to transform my situation and deal with everything, deal with myself in a very even uplifting way. Whether it's physical illness or something else, a situation, a problem in life, many times we go through struggles and inner battles just because there's a discrepancy between what is and what I want or what I expect, and the lack of acceptance of what is. You can see the gap. We have this, we carry at different levels these illusions of what I want, of what I believe that I am, or how I am, or how I want to be in life, or what I am in life, what I want to do, and so on. But, or in relation to people. But when something shows up, whether it's in relationship through someone, I'm getting a message or a message from a body, we don't necessarily like it. Because I think one thing humanity at this point is really called on to, or called for, is to look at the self. Because the relationship we have with our own inner self is probably at this point in time the worst possible. And if the relationship with my own self is of neglectance, of disapproval, of denial, now what is it that I'm actually carrying into the world? Through my every breath, through my every thought, through my every gesture, through my every look, vision. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And so, we have spiritual teachings every day. And for this month, there's a great emphasis and focus on the practice, on a deeper understanding and the practice of being bestower of mercy. So particularly that quality of being merciful. And on my own journey, this quality of mercy was always a big question mark. I felt a lot of attraction towards it, but most of the time, if not all the time, I was not really, when the moment came, I was not really able to be really merciful, and even with the self. And so over the years, gradually I started to learn. And for me now, it is, one has to be, we have this workshop of make your mind your best friend. Because you can separate from people, but you cannot really separate from your mind. So sooner or later it will, it will knock on the door, and I will hopefully take care of it. So if the more I develop a relationship with my inner self that is of benefit, that is of well-wishing, that is of encouragement, empowerment, instead of punitive, instead of, disregarding the self, being harsh and negative towards the self when I make a mistake, or I think thought I made a mistake, when things happen. Many times when we get affected by something or by someone, we start to feel uncomfortable. And when we feel uncomfortable inside, that's the moment, these are the times where we, call people, we watch TV, we go here, we go there, we go shopping, we do all sorts of things, just not because these are all distractions, what I'm engaging in, just not to be with myself. There's some who literally, they go shopping or eating, yes. So you shop and then Bankkonto, husband or wife or bank even is calling you the next day, or eating, and you overeat, you eat things that are really unhealthy, the guilt then that comes. And so and even if I find and observe and discover that I do things like this, but the whole idea that it is worthwhile to invest to develop a relationship with myself that is of benefit. And the more I can accept my inner potential, my inner goodness, the more I can accept that I am a being of goodness. And whenever I started my journey, I was full and complete. I had everything that I needed. There was complete harmony, unity, order within me, in my mind, in my heart, in my body. Everything was perfect. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being happy, being joyful, feeling light, having happy relationships consistently. We all had a time like that. And if I really value that and think deeply about it, then whenever there is whatever else is going on, that takes me, or I believe that is taking me away from an inner peace or inner happiness. When I look at my attitude, I will see that that attitude is not of respect or of being a well-wisher for myself in these moments at this time. And if I can make that inner shift, that inner adjustment to approach that part within me, you know, that is stubborn, that is unhappy, that is painful, that has never been listened to. If I, you know, make that shift and heal that part, I care for myself, I care for my well-being. Life will become very easy because whatever it is, the self, the physical body in my immediate life, in the bigger context of life, all the dramas, the problems, the situation, the violence is coming from somewhere, right? I doubt that anyone believes that there's something or someone somewhere that's making us do all of these things. Especially, you know, when you look at the different levels of violence that are going on everywhere in the world. So somewhere, somehow, we are responsible for whatever is happening somewhere, no? At least I must have contributed something, because otherwise, why am I part of that? So same, it starts with my own body. And if we start to be accountable, if we start to take responsibility in terms of just my level of thinking, how I feel, the experiences I create for myself. And in doing so, of course, I mean, it's a great interest, a practice, a great emphasis in our lives to also include God in that. So I don't have to do it myself. There's a source, there's a being available, the source of goodness, the source of spiritual strength, a being that is completely benevolent, can never ever cause harm. A being that knows me better than I know myself. Being that is the ocean of love, the ocean of peace, the bestower of happiness, the remover of sorrow. Now, if I have the courage to involve that being, allow that being to reach me, to open up to that unlimited benevolence, that definitively will be a great support. And if you take it a step further, it requires courage. The next step would be at the more spiritual level, at the level of consciousness. I belong to that unlimited source. I'm even the child. And as a child, I have a right. I don't even have to ask for. So I connect, I open up to that unique and immensely pure light that is also consciousness, conscious, self-aware, is available for us to help us. Then with an inner right, I will turn my mind to the source. to receive support, to receive a current of that pure energy, to receive, experience, sense that unconditional love, sense a very peaceful energy, a very peaceful, very benevolent presence. But it requires courage, because do I have that self-respect? Do I have the courage to believe I have a right to be served, to be helped by a being that is incredibly benevolent, loving, selfless, altruistic, called God? And so if I then, take that course of direction where I start to involve the source, then it becomes it becomes possible. Healing, letting go becomes a thought closer. It becomes more of a possibility of a reality, And many of us, we are used to, and we want to do everything by ourselves. And then there are others who constantly depend on someone or something and get disappointed because expectations are not fulfilled. And those of us who think they can do everything by themselves, oh, I don't need any help. I know I can. I will do. But I think, when you think a little bit more deeply, just take a brief look into what's going on in the world. Immediate world, bigger world. There's no one, there is no problem. It's almost everyone who has big problem. It's a sign of time, no? It's a sign of time. And it's also telling us that we are dealing with something that is maybe bigger than us. There's an accumulation of something that we maybe collectively have been created unknowingly, and we are now dealing with situations and circumstances that are just a little bit big and out of control, exactly. And maybe sometimes we need that. We need to reach that point where I see I actually can't do anything anymore. Let go, let God. Give some space for God to help you. Because when it comes to especially the well-being of the global family, I don't think any human being is responsible for that. But when I then come back to my own self and start to take responsibility for my own actions, for my own thoughts, for my own feelings, and be accountable for that, and take the help of the Supreme Being, the Father of the soul, then whatever is within my own reach and I'm responsible for, I can take care of. And so then there's no more need to worry, but you can actually have good wishes, pure feelings, thoughts of hope, thoughts of, encouragement, or whatever is needed for those around you. But we don't need to worry anymore, because ultimately God is responsible for every human soul, for every spirit. We take responsibility for others. We feel bad when someone else does something wrong. We get angry when someone else is doing something bad. But that's a great ignorance, actually. And if I simply be responsible for myself, that under all circumstances, I do the best I can, that's the maximum we can do. That even in the face of provocation, you have a merciful attitude, a benevolent attitude. I know what to take in and I know what to give out. So what all of that has to do with sickness being a message? It's maybe one angle, one way that we can explore to actually go a little bit deeper, and in order to support the healing, support well-being, create well-being again, to go a little bit deeper and look at the more subtle levels, the subtle energies that are available to me, the power to think, the power to feel, the attitudes, what's my intention? And then what is it that I have created? What is actually there? And to take this step, to take courage, and with God's help, you heal the self, you let go of what is not good, and you hold on to what is true, what is good. I am. That's why we always underline to identify with my spiritual identity, not to identify with anything physical. Because peace, love, strength, wisdom is within the soul, not in the body. The mind is in the soul, not in the body. The mind that keeps thinking, the intellect that has the power to understand, to discern, to make decisions, to judge, is in the soul, not in the body. So if I look after myself at that subtle level, then whatever I will do, it will be also of benefit. Okay, so I think I'll stop at this point, and let's see if there are any comments or questions.
If I heard this correctly, you're saying that illness is a...
One second. Can you all hear the sister? Okay, yes.
Okay. I think you're saying that illness is sort of a red flag, right? A warning sign for us to go within because it's inside out. And a lot of time the physical illness is a manifestation of emotional or mental blockage. Like, I guess we see that to some degree, right? Like when we're stressed, obviously our immune system, drops and we become susceptible to flu and whatever else is going on. But I think given what we have just experienced in the past 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure if going within and doing the self-reflection gives us the comfort that, okay, that we have control over it, because it's definitely external. You're getting COVID because someone else happens to be sick and you're catching the infection, just like you're catching a flu. So in those situations, it doesn't seem as though we're the source of the issue. And that was the piece that for me was a bit of a disconnect, but the rest I agree. There is sort of the mind and the physical illness and some connection to it, because it's vice versa.
Very nice question, actually. A couple of things. One is, I'm not seeing or saying that self is a source of the problem or the emerging illness. It's more like one approach is where we know about the psychosomatic illnesses, the connection between the subtle, the thought patterns, my attitudes, and my thinking, and the somatic experience that I have, right? But my point was more to when we go deeper into the spiritual dimension and actually connect to my spiritual identity, connect to the peace that is within, the love, the joy, and all the beautiful virtues, and realize that this is really who I am, and have that value for the self. There will be then that sense of self-worth. There will be self-respect. And then when I have that true self-respect, because I value peace, I value harmony, I value, but not in terms of I demand it from someone, but I access it with the core of my being. I, the soul, the spiritual being, I am Om Shanti, a peaceful soul. When I connect the goodness to my identity, or my identity to my goodness, because you can't really go deeper than identity, that really, whatever I believe I am, that infuses my thinking, my awareness, the thoughts that I create, the beliefs that I develop, the attitudes. No? Is the cup half full or half empty? So that was one point. So to go into the spiritual dimension, to connect not to just positive, but the goodness that I am. And if I realize and value that, then whatever pain, problem, discomfort, whether it's at the body level or at the emotional level, I will have mercy. I will want to care. That means I have a very benevolent attitude. And that benevolence, that pure energy will support the healing. Because I cannot create peace with violence or with anger or upsetness or denial or disregard, right? And the other aspect is, I'm not a good storyteller, but very briefly, I was a couple of times at a retreat place where the virus then showed up and people got sick. I was fine. I'm living with two sisters, both at different times. Even with one I share room, had COVID. I'm fine. Thanks to my fortune, thanks to God and whatever, and who knows what will happen in future. But I do believe that it is not by chance that I didn't catch the virus yet. I was multiple times exposed. And so are there other people. And then there are those people, like one sister I know, she always wears her mask. One day she did not. That day she caught the virus. Initially, I was very firm in wearing mask, but then also I got a little bit slack. But I have this tendency to, and that for me, it is very important, my relationship with myself and that connection inward. And so I keep checking. And as long as I feel deeply safe, I feel secure, there's no fear, I am safe, I know. But that doesn't mean I have to do things to expose myself unnecessarily. That doesn't imply that, right? So I do take precautions and I pay the attention. So what I'm trying to say, we know that certain mental patterns, because my thoughts trigger the hormones, whatever we create, the thoughts, feelings in the soul, the brain, the hypothalamus is main gland translated in a somatic reaction and is responsible for the hormones that are released. And that makes me the body vulnerable or not. If the hormones are such that they foster and create inflammation and weaken my immune system, fear, for example, definitively does that, even if it's just there at a subtle level. So then the more worried and fearful I am, the more I'm actually attracting germs, and they will also create havoc. And it's not just a thought that I'm having, oh, I feel safe. No, you have to go deeper. You have to check at a deeper level, connect it more subconsciously. That's the energy really that's making us vulnerable or not. What is deeper within me? So it's of course a concept that I have been sharing, and and it's not that by just going inside, I can clear up everything in my life and every illness and every pain. But to some degree, I can serve the body a great deal by creating a peaceful, healing vibrations, sending that pure light to the respected parts of the body. But then also understanding that whatever is happening is, I'm kind of balancing something out, because whenever there is chaos, violence, hurt, pain, something went off. I took more from the account that I actually had in the account. I'm creating a minus, a deficit. And that's why there are consequences. And the consequences are typically not what we like to face, because it is pain, it is hardship, it is this and that. But if I understand that even if I'm going through, I just spoke shortly before the session with the sister, she got COVID, and for a few days she really was not well at all. But because she has connection with God, she's meditating, she knows that in a bigger context, some way or other, I am settling something at the physical level. I'm paying off something. And just the fact that I'm now paying off, I'm settling, I'm clearing up, I can be happy. So that illness is not happening for just by chance or to create a problem for me. So even though there is pain and difficulty, but I know I'm settling. This is just one example, right? Because I'm paying off, I will not worry. I will not become anxious, but I can keep a happy mind, even though there is pain and discomfort in the body. And that will definitively support the body. And just to close now, to finish off, our physical bodies have incredible self-healing capacity. But it's through our thoughts, through our insecurities, through our fears, we have worries, we have doubt, and we create those thoughts and feelings. And then I start to suffer. When I start to worry, I start to suffer. One is pain, but then I start to suffer because my mind is dwelling on the knee that is hurting so badly. And then, a lot of complaint, this and that, and your energy goes all the way down. So pain is one thing, but my attitude is something else. And so if I don't interfere with the body, by having negative thoughts or attitudes is an interference. I'm blocking the body's capacity to heal itself, actually. One last example, then really stop. We have a brother, and it's an actually incredible story. He also caught COVID and a while ago, and he was in extremely bad shape. He was at the ventilator, but he shared then, much later. And then the other thing is he has 0 long-term COVID. Now I asked him, how did you do that? And he said throughout, he noticed he caught it, something is happening. He went to the doctor. And then after it was diagnosed, doctor said, you have to go right away into the hospital, this and that. He accepted it, put the mind at peace, surrendered to God, and had 0 worry. 0 worry, he said. He was a complete peace. It's not that he gave up his life or don't care attitude, whatever will happen. No. But because he accepted, there was no more battling or fighting. And then the mind was at peace, the surrender to God and the faith in God. It kept his mind very peaceful and calm. And so the body, the doctors did their job, and body was able to do its own. And he said himself that I deeply believe just because I did not worry, I had no fear throughout. That's the reason why I don't have why I made it, but also why I don't have long-term COVID. So if we have an accident, if we have an illness or not, there are reasons. But that's why, when we learn about spirituality and that we're learning about these concepts, but then also what is the message I'm getting here? Can I decode it? What is the message? What is it that I can do now to make things better? Okay. So I think I went on a little bit too long. Sister
Ines, I know we are over time, but Sharon had her hand up for a long time. I just want to see if she wants to ask a quick question. I know she turned off her video. Sharon, if you're still there and you want to ask a question. Okay, I think we lost her. So thank you anyway. Sister Ines, I think she...
I'm Jackie, it's Sharon. I'm
okay.
good. I got, what I got was confirmed. I just think that the more I'm able to stay in soul consciousness, the better off I am. My immune system is better off. It is stronger. It can fight off and do what the body does. And when I get caught up in body consciousness and other people's problems, it takes over my state of peace and stuff. So it's just what I got was that the more I'm able to stay in soul consciousness, the more I'm able to trust God, rely on God, the better off I am overall. It's not that things won't happen, but I will be better able to deal with them. Mm-hmm. The more I stay in soul conscious, and that's what I got.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, thank you.
Soul consciousness simply means that I'm aware that I'm a spiritual being. And when we think of soul, I connect to my innate goodness. And then connecting to the source, so my overall energy stays more and more elevated, connected to all the goodness. And that is what is helping. And what God wants us to be, happy. Okay, shall we do just a very short meditation to close?
Yes.
Okay, so we sit relaxed. And for a few moments, I choose to unplug, disconnect, let go of the world around me. And I take a look, a step inward, going even beyond the awareness of this body, reaching out to the core of my being. Within this body, behind the eyes, there resides a living energy, a conscious being of light, self-aware, conscious of my own existence, with the innate qualities of peace, love, happiness, strength, wisdom. And I am that being, that living energy, that being of peace. This is who I truly am. A very kind, loving, benevolent being. And I am the living energy, the life-giving force of this body. I, the being, keep this body alive. I'm using this body to express myself. If I realize that I, the being, the living energy, I am distinct from this body, I know I have a body, but I am not it. And if I have a body, and I am a benevolent being, I will have respect. I will have respect for this physical costume. I will have love and a deep interest to care for this physical costume. I will not just eat or think or do whatever comes to mind, but I will act. I will think, I will act, I will speak in alignment with who I truly am. This is my self-respect. This is my dignity. And the more true I stay to myself, I'm able to generate, to create an incredible, beautiful energy. I take responsibility to uphold this benevolent self-image for myself. And if anyone else has a different comment, I keep it outside me. I'll take in only that is of benefit, and I give out only that which is of benefit. And in this way, I can also greatly support my physical body to keep it running and help as needed with the healing process. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Ines. Wonderful talk. Very valuable information. So good night, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.